Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Doctor Who review, episode number 54. Here reviewing the third story from John Pertwee's third season of the show, and also third story of season 9, The Sea Devils. The sequel, the semi-sequel to Doctor Who and the Silurians. Okay, and it features the Master. Yep, first time he appeared in the series at this point since the end of the previous season of the show. Yeah. So, the Sea Devils. They are the aquatic cousins of the Silurians, and this is basically the sequel story. This actually was in the set of Beneath the Surface, which collected Doctor and the Silurians, this story, and Warriors Deep. Warriors Deep is my next one to cover. Why? Because basically these are these creatures. Now, the Sea Devils themselves, like, they hear in this story, and Warriors Deep, and they're never shown in Doctor Who ever again until they just showed up in that last in that series. I think it was in the second special, the second to last thing that Jodie Whittaker was in for as a Doctor. Now, I've heard that the writers of Doctor Who have very hesitant to bring back the Sea Devils, like Russell Davies didn't want to do it. Steve Moffat didn't want to do it. But yet, the recent showrunner brought them back. Yes. And they've been demanding for them for quite some time. And they did. I will eventually watch it. Don't worry. So, excuse me. This story is told in 6 episodes. The Master, of course, is first seen in prison because he was captured at the end of the previous season's show. So named Sea Devils, despite the fact they're the aquatic cousins of the Silurians. As a matter of fact, the Doctor Silurians episode is mentioned several times at the story. Yes, because it's a sequel to it. And also, Unit, despite being mentioned, do not make appearance in the story. Yeah, that I thought was quite weird. Like, there's like no Brigadier. I don't know the reason for it. It's quite weird. The fact that you could easily have the Brigadier basically told this captain, who was very hesitant the whole story. Now you might be thinking, had the Brigadier appeared in this very season, he did appear in Day of Daleks. Yep. But for some reason, I'm not sure why this is. Yeah, they decided to have him skip the story for reasons. Yeah, he appeared in the next story, Time Monster, but he's absent for like 2 straight stories. It's kind of weird though. Like, he was there for 2 full seasons of the show, and then like it's like they trimmed him back. Oh, by the way, he appears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only about 7 more stories for this era for Doctor Who. Excuse me. I have only covered of his stories, which Web of Fear, Invasion, Spirit in Space, Doctor Silurians, The Ambassadors of Death, Terror of the Autons, Day of the Daleks, The Three Doctors, Time Warrior, and Planet of Spiders. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 24, 20. He made overall 25 appearances, 25 stories for classic Doctor Who. Let's see. 10, 14. And I've only covered about 15 of those stories. So basically, the story of this one is that there's these ships going missing. Yes, ships. So the Doctor gets involved. Because of course he does. Oh, by the way, the TARDIS itself never mentioned this whole story. Doesn't make a physical appearance. I'm thinking, that's kind of weird. I mean, you might think, okay, did it show up in Day of the Doctor? No, it did not. I think it showed. I think it may have shown in the previous story, but actually, Curse the Paladin it did. But this story, it's absent. This is like right after Curse the Paladin. Yeah, and also, guess what's missing from the story aside from the unit, the Brigadier, the TARDIS, the Doctor's car? Bessie is missing from the story. It's almost like basically the writer, who wrote this, the guy who wrote this story, which is Malcolm Huckle. Excuse me, one of them Doctor any of the noble stuff he has. Well, except for Sonic Screwdriver, that makes a appearance in the story. Also, the Master at some point prior to the story had contacted the Sea Devils, and he's been in league with them. Now they wear these attire that also use fishnet stuff. When they show up in the very next story, they wear completely different outfits. Yes, why they wear the fishnets? Don't know. And of course, they guys are hiding it for the same reason as the Silurians did, because apparently there's going to be a catastrophe, which never happened. Yep, that was simply the reason. Also, this story was released from February 26th to April 1st of 1972. Excuse me, yes. Do I think the story is a lot of fun? Yes. It does feel as though it does drag out a bit. At one point, halfway through the story, we have this politician show up, just take charge, and demands to have breakfast as soon as he gets there. Eggs, bacon, sausage, and a whole lot of toast. I'm like, dude, slow the frick down with your food. Now I'm thinking, like, wait, why is he eating so much food? It's the British. Oh yeah, give me some tea too. It's British culture. That's the only mild aspect of the story I didn't like, though. The fact you had to have this politician come in and demand all this food. Because he really wants some breakfast. If you wanted some breakfast, go to a frickin' restaurant to stop by there. Oh, he says, I'm taking charge because the minister sent me here. Because I want to declare war on these Sea Devils. Despite like half the story, the captain, who's here, doesn't believe these people existed, and all of a sudden, yeah, they exist now. I'm like, what? Do we have a rewrite of a script where somehow the British government found out about the Sea Devils? How they found out is never actually explained. I mean, there wasn't much evidence. Basically the captain only had the Doctor's word and like a couple of people's word that these creatures existed, and yet somehow the British government found out about it and sent this person out because they want to attack. And of course, well, Doctor points out to negotiate with them, and then of course he's attacked. Yes, attacked. Then of course the Doctor is retrieved. It's like, who's the idiot who wants to attack while I'm trying to negotiate? That'll be me. Yeah. He's like, why do you do this? Oh, for eliminating enemies. Yeah, it sounds like this guy is going to be a standard politician at this point in time. And based on what I see here, yes, I get the fact it's the 70s. Heck, we even have a hovercraft appearing here. Yes, a hovercraft. Now you're thinking, wait, is this a Doctor Who's thing? I'm sure they probably existed by that point. I don't know if the military ever used these things, but here shows that yeah, they used them. And of course, we're thinking, okay, is the base under siege by the end of the story? Oh yeah, there's actually a brief point in time where the Sea Devils take command of the Navy base. Oh, by the way, the whole that old Tower Island thing that happened at the start of the story, that's completely forgotten about. The guy who's delirious. Yeah, but half of the story, he's like, it's like basically of stuff introduced at the start of the story, and then it just dropped. And also, we also have the Colonel charged in prison. He gets killed with the Sea Devil as part of Master's escape from the place. Even though he was able to get the place, no problem at all with the Colonel's help. Yeah, it's almost like basically Malcolm Huckle basically was changing his script on the blue. That seemed like to me. It seemed a bit of a confusing story, but I'd say probably the most consistent thing about the story was Sea Devils. Yeah, they were very consistent the whole story. Though for some reason, they had it where their leader sounded a lot like the leader of the Silurians. Could be the same voice, but then later I think this voice did come back for Warrior is Deep. The story is interesting for what it is, but I kind of felt as though at some points it felt very inconsistently written. And like, oh, the captain's on the doctor's side now because his politician's here. Yep. I mean, I still enjoy the story, nonetheless. And by the end of the story, the Sea Devils are all killed. But at least the Doctor actually helps them with it, unlike last time. Of course, yes, they bring up the fact, yes, the Silurians were killed in the ones appeared in Doctor Silurians. And like, oh yeah, bring it ordered it. But the thing is, if you watch the story, apparently I don't know if you remember this at all, because it's been 2 years. The Brigadier was ordered by higher ups to destroy the Silurians' base. It wasn't like he randomly decided to blow up the base. He got orders from higher up to do it. Yes, and I kind of figured though that they should have the TARDIS been in the story? Not necessarily. Probably the reason why they have the story because in Doctor Silurians, the TARDIS does not appear at all. And in the case of here, kind of the same thing. Okay. The Master probably is here because he was featured last season. Of course, he was featured the last 2 episodes, so why not bring it back? Oh, he does come back. You're thinking, how does he come back? Well, he comes back like about 2 stories of this one. He skips mutants, comes back in Time Monster. Yeah, he appears in, absolutely appears in 2 more times in this era, and that's it. No, seriously, that's it. And this is only the 3rd story I've covered for him for the John Pertwee era. 4th Doctor, I've covered 2 of the stories. 5th Doctor, I've covered about 3. Yeah, 3. 6th and 7th, haven't covered them all. But I'll cover more as time goes on. Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, would I cover anything? Now, here's the strange thing, though, about the previous season of the show. I've only covered the opening story. I have not covered anything else in that one. Not really, no. Excuse me. Yeah. But can't we discuss the rest of the stuff, okay? So, that's pretty much it, particular view. Next episode will be 2 comic corners, and then I'm going to have to take care of something first, and then I'll do my next story, which will be The Return of Machuca Tensei, which I'm looking forward to, okay? Thanks for you. Bye.